Ooh.
Has that not worked? Ah. Bollocks. To the bootmobile!
Boobies.
What are we doing here, Dad? Is this what they were doing on Countryfile last night?
Oh yeah, a bit of preservation, isn't that what they call it?
Slow the flow, that's what they called it, weren't it?
Jesus, don't even go there. They really haven't got a clue, have they?
Hello and welcome back to Norfolk Fords. Today is the first video of 2025, which is a bit ridiculous because it's nearly February. But frankly, I hadn't really had a lot to show off. And the only real farming topics going on at the minute are the budget, tax, inheritance tax, blah blah blah. You do not need another video on why those things are bad, annoying and upsetting many farmers. So instead, I've decided we're going to bide our time until we have something a little bit more interesting to share. So what have we got in store in this video? Well, I'm having a quick walk of the daffodils. These are the ones down the bottom of my fields. This side is first years and we're nearly walking up to the second years. So this lot was barley, but that side over there, which is planted at a different angle, was planted in my first year of tenancy. So this is the first year we're actually going to get a pick off of these daffodils, because if conditions are not perfect, you shouldn't really be picking on a first year. You can, and we have done in the past, but when we looked to consider picking off of these first years last year, because these are now the second years, you couldn't walk on this field because it is silly silt, as we like to call it. There was enough moisture throughout February that this was just saturated. Daffodils loved it, they looked fantastic, but you'd have never walked it to pick it. So you can see here, different line. Don't ask me why. Dad thought it would be better to plant this second lot at a different angle to differentiate them, I suppose. But as you can see, there looks like an awful lot of activity here. Throughout the sort of summer and autumn, me and Dad keep checking on the mounds. There's been plenty of worm activity down here, which is definitely a good sign. As you can see, they're everywhere. These are coming through thick and fast, and most importantly, they look fairly even at this stage. So these are probably going to be mid-season picking to late season picking. So far too early to say anything on these yet. You probably wouldn't find a flower head yet, although they are coming. That'll be further down in the bulb right now. But yeah, those daffodils will be coming to a supermarket near you. These ones will not. Just because they're first years. So second years, they've had the time to establish. They've got a lot of bang behind them. They've had a year's worth of fertilizer, rain, all that juicy stuff they've established. These are going to boom, have a lovely flower to pick. These ones, literally planted this autumn just gone, so not a lot gonna happen there, but I'll hopefully get a video of us spraying them at some point, because we do like the sprayer jobs. But while we're down this end of the farm, let's just have a look at, I might be a little bit out of turn here, but possibly controversial SFI wild bird mix scheme. I've treated it as a fill-in for corners, because I've got quite a lot of narrow triangle little edges and bits and pieces. So I've used that to sort of level off my fields and get the money from the grant as such. Now, it is worth saying that this isn't free money, because even though it would have been a pig to have sprayed and spread fertiliser on, it is still productive land. I have put down some decent sized blocks because as a young tenant I do want to guarantee some income for my my rents, my chemical bills. Those are the two big ones. So what harm is there in having a bit of guaranteed money? But I do have my criticisms. Like I said, it is land out of production that isn't producing food. I'm sure you've heard that one before. But also, this is meant to be winter bird seed. And if you look here, it definitely looks like birds have been eating the seeds. I can't see any seeds left in these pods. I don't necessarily think they've gone to the floor. But, there's a hare there. Hello. Yeah, what was I saying? I do think it looks awful. I thought it was a little bit better in the autumn when it had a bit of life to it. But I suppose it is now serving its job. It's had all the seeds out over the winter. The birds have eaten them. But now I've got scruffy weedy bits in the corners of my fields. And yeah, hopefully after I've got 2 more years of this being down, hopefully this is easy to clean up. Because it's all well and good taking this government grant for this, but how much is it going to cost me in roundup and cultivation? Because there's a lot going on at the bottom here, as you can see. So I think it would be interesting to get your guys' comments down below on these SFI bits and pieces. I'm sure you've all dealt with them in some ways, shapes or forms. Like I say, I have mixed feelings on them, because you've heard it before, land is out of production, but it is a guaranteed money, so there is work and reward, you know, guaranteed money. It's a crop that I've got no risk over because it's done its job. I haven't got to worry about, say, oilseed rape. You have a hurricane come down through Scotland like we did this week just gone, and lose an entire crop through that. So you got guarantees there, which, like I say, as a young tenant I do want certain guarantees. I put in enough of these SFI bits and pieces to do about 10% of my rent each year. That was my plan. I thought that was sensible, but it's mostly just filling in corners that just make it easier to back into with the sprayer. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Are they actually a good idea? Are they going to be a pain when it comes to spraying them off and bringing land back into production? Is the grant even going to still be there? You know, what is DEFRA up to? Now we'll leave DEFRA alone, we can get into rants later. Gore, it looks mean, doesn't it? So, what do we say about the combine? Well, for starters, Roy, here's proof that I did start it before Christmas. I have got videos on the GoPro, but the GoPro's been letting me down. I don't know what other people have been finding with GoPros. Unless I'm charging it every single night, it will not do a full day's worth. It is a bit frustrating, because you start off filming about 50% battery, and you think, well, 50%'s loads of battery. Now you'll get about 20 minutes. So, a bit frustrated with the GoPro. That was meant to be a Christmas video, but the footage kept dying off, so I'll probably throw them together at some point so I've got something together. But the gist of it is, this is the skid plate of the combine header. We've got many of these. There we go. We do need a bit of a tidy up. This is all the straw and dirt that came out from underneath when the panels dropped down. As you can see though, the actual frame looks pretty spot on. There's no bends, there's no cracks, and the paintwork's all there, so I've got no problem with this rotting out anytime soon. But yeah, you come and have a look at the panels, and we're talking paper thin. So this one I did actually take a plate off. This is a plate that's been welded over the top at some point. So it looks like I'm going to strip back all these panels and do the same thing, get up a new piece of plate and put that in place. So this is the front edge of the header. So yeah, you've only just got to have a little bit of a bend at the back here, but ultimately most of the wear is happening on this sort of heel. You see how paper thin that is because of how easy that bends. But yeah, that is as far as it goes really for the combine. So I did start it before Christmas, so I did stick to that. We're not about to go into Daffodil, so I'm not sure I'm going to get a chance to come back to it yet. But I do want to turn my attention to the drill, because I think we're going to be a little bit tight timing wise for drilling, because I have offered to help with de-stoning this year for another farmer. So I do think I need to just spend a little bit of time with this. There's nothing particularly that needs doing, it's just something that annoys me. I just want to take the power harrow away from the drill, so I've got room to work around it, and have a look at, turn on the light, the skimmers for the rollers. You can see that that's scraping along there. There's a few places where you can just see the scrapers are scraping the metal and wearing it out a little bit. So I need to nip that in the bud. So I'm going to want to find time in the next couple of weeks before DAFs, hitch it up to the tractor, unhook it from the drill, slide it off, make the adjustments that need doing, and then put it back on, get the TM with the jewels on. We've got some satellite for it as well, so get the TM ready for drilling, and then we'll fit a steering kit to it. We've got that all sat ready to put on, but there's probably a day's worth of fabricating brackets and different bits and pieces. Then you've got calibrate and blah, 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 blah. So we are rocking RTK this year. Thank God. That is going to be a massive weight off my shoulders. I can drive them by the markers, got no fear of that. But we had the chance to buy a second-hand Topcon X25 screen, which is quite a new screen. That is the latest small screen that they do. It has all the unlocks on it. So Dad has got this marvellous idea that we're going to do like a section control type thing with the screen and the dome, because you can do that with this and set up quite an easy sort of on-off system on one of these drills. I mean, it would be a 4 metre section turning on and off, but you know, I think it'd be worth doing. If anybody's done section control drilling, let me know down below, because I would like to know if it's actually worth doing. I like the idea of it, because obviously we section control plant tulips, but we're only doing about 1.8 metres beds at the time compared to 4 metres worth. It's a bit of a difference, but if anybody's done a section control on the drill, let me know. Is it worth rigging up? It's probably not something we'll rig up this year. We're only interested in fixing the wearing bits on the power harrow, like I said, hook it up, get it ready, so we can just open the doors and go, and have the steering set up. That is the plan. All very exciting. But yeah, that is as exciting as it gets for machinery. I have had a few more thoughts on the 4610. I am going to try and have a few Saturdays here and there on it, because I would like to get a little bit more out of the old tractor. It's what started me playing about with YouTube and stuff, and it is still a very nice little machine. It's a shame now I'm on a bit more of a production scale, I guess you'd say. It's no longer the hobby that it was, the farm I mean. So the 4610 doesn't really have a job on the farm, apart from it's there, it's pretty, and occasionally I could put 2 furrows on it, you know. But I do want it looked after, so we'll probably look to get her tidied up a bit more in the future, but probably going to prioritise the drill and the combine first. We'll see. I'm waffling. Let's go have a look at some crops. Well, This I find a little bit funny. I haven't been past this field in a while, but this is one of Dad's fields that he's put down to the exact same SFI wild bird mix. And I know it's exactly the same because it was drilled with my drill. And it's exactly the same seed because I ordered the seed. But his looks far greener, which I'd be a lot happier with if there was a lot more greenery, but mine looks dead. I mean, you can see the same seed pods that I had that we were pointing out had been eaten, which is fine. But it looks like I think there's sunflowers in it. And they just look a lot more alive. I'd be happier seeing that, but yeah. Don't know. Now then, what do you call that for coverage? I don't think we've missed a single spot really. We had a couple of wet holes in this field we had to go around. What we did on this field was we had potatoes on it as a sublet. This is down the Keys, and potatoes came off. We didn't cultivate it as soon as we should have. That is a very valuable lesson, that we should have cultivated it straight away, because it did sit of water a little bit and that was looking a little bit annoying. So this field, we got the subsoiler through it. There's a few double passes in certain areas just to try and make a good job. There's certain areas like this wet hole over here which was never going to happen, so this has been subsoiled and drilled straight into, and it doesn't look too bad. You can kind of see overlaps here and here where I was going off the GPS really for me ins and outs, and while that was good, we've got the coverage, we've got too much overlap there really, so that's something I need to work out how to do better, possibly like we said with section control, earlier with TopCon, but I think that's more of a later on idea. This year I'm not worried about that, but it's more probably me setting in is where that needs to be. I was using the inner boundaries as a set-in line off the front of the arrow, if that makes sense. So I now realise, looking at these overlaps, that's a little bit too generous. Here I don't mind overlapping a little bit more because this was sort of a wettish area that needed a little bit more going over sort of thing. So here I don't mind it as much, but this was a very odd angle to go at and I didn't really nail it, did I? But no, the field looks lovely, I think. But one thing we do need to work out on the drill, again I don't think it'll happen this spring, but Dad's complained we need pre-emergent markers because we've got pre-emergent kit on it. No, we haven't. We've got tramline kit on it is what I mean, because you can see we're not planted here and here. This should be a tramline, but Dad did the tram lines off of this angle here because he couldn't see where I'd left the marks and the GPS wasn't helping him out overly well, so he has done the pre-emergent sprays at a different angle to what I've left as tram lines, but now it's obviously grown up, we can use the tram lines I've left. So yeah, we're luckily I've got 4 spools on the TM and I only use 3 of them for the drill, but yeah, he would like me to set up a marker kit. I think we can do that, Dad, that's not a problem. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. Set for the wet holes, there's another one over there. As you can see, just too wet. Should have hit it sooner with the cultivator, but that's by the by. This one here, there's a little bit of a wet patch just there, but that one's not as bad. But overall, down at the Keys, hasn't come too bad at all. This little bit down this end I think is quite funny, because this is pretty much, we'll call it 38 metres wide, so it's nearly exactly the right length for the sprayer, but then that half of the field is coming gladdies for Dad, so definitely looks like he's got a lot going on Gladys wise, because that's still a very big parcel of land. I think the Keys is something like 30 acres in total, and we've split the bugger in half. I think he's got the neater half, mind. He's got all the straight edges, I've got all the dog legs, like round there. But yeah, I've got all these houses going up as well. But I don't mind those houses going up, because they didn't go up on agricultural land. That was an onion factory. And the onion factory had sat barren for a lot of years. So let's have more houses going up on disused buildings and facilities and stuff. And I don't think they look too bad. They've got integrated solar panels in the roofs, look. All very modern. Thinking about these new houses going up, that will make me laugh that I probably will upset a few people with the combine. But move to the countryside, you will reap the rewards, I suppose. Now down the Oddfellas, and it looks to me like we're going to need a spray on this very soon. That's all just starting to come through a little bit. See, it looks like mostly twitch and stuff on this end, but you can see it throughout the field. There's just little spits and spats of green coming through, which is a worry because this was gladiola last year, and so that makes me think it could be blackgrass, because I don't think the barley from previous years would have survived ploughing twice and having a gladioli crop in there. So yeah, but yeah, it's ploughed over nicely for winter. It's yeah, not a lot really to say. We'll probably go straight into this with the combination drill, get the spring barley in there. Bosh. Bloody hell. 17 metres. Bloody hell.